I just found out I've been the other man for 8 months. She never thought I'd check. So I'm Finn, 33, mechanical engineer. I'm the guy who color codes his toolbox and actually reads instruction manuals. Not exactly the type you'd picture in a messy affair situation, right? Yeah, me neither. 8 months ago, I met Lena at this professional development center where I was taking a project management course. She teaches language classes there, soft-spoken, thoughtful. We started talking after class, then coffee turned into dinner, and before I knew it, we were seeing each other regularly. Here's the thing though, there were always these little boundaries. She never stayed over completely, always had to leave by midnight at the latest. Early morning classes, she'd say. No couple photos for social media because she was private about her personal life. Her phone would go into some kind of do not disturb black hole every evening around 10 p.m. I'm not stupid. I noticed. But when I asked about it, she had this way of making me feel like I was being clingy or demanding too much too fast. We're taking things slow, aren't we? And honestly, I bought it. I'm divorced, been there, done that with rushing into commitment. Slow felt reasonable. My colleague Tara kept side-eyeing the whole situation. She's been my work wife for 5 years, knows me better than most people. Finn, she'd say over lunch, something's off, trust your gut. But I kept defending Lena because when we were together it felt real. Last Tuesday changed everything. I was supposed to meet a client near Lena's neighborhood, finished early, and figured I'd grab coffee at this place she'd mentioned before. I walked up around 8 p.m. and there she was, sitting across from a man I'd never seen before. My first thought was maybe a colleague or brother. But then I saw his hand covering hers on the table. The way she laughed at something he said, tilting her head that specific way she does. And when they stood up to leave, I saw it clearly under the cafe lights, matching wedding bands. I didn't go in, didn't make a scene, just stood there on the sidewalk like an idiot while my brain tried to reboot. This wasn't some separated but technically married situation. This was a date between a married couple. I went back to my car and sat in there for an hour. Everything clicked into place, every excuse, every boundary, every time she'd suddenly needed to leave. I wasn't her boyfriend. I was the guy she was cheating with. I was her hobby. The next morning I texted her, need to talk. Can you come over tonight? She showed up at 7 looking concerned. Is everything okay? Who's Martin? I asked. I'd found his name on a law firm website after some searching. Took me 10 minutes. The fact that it was that easy to find only made me feel even more like an idiot. But Lena, her face didn't even change. No panic, no guilt, just this calm assessment. You saw us. Yeah, okay. She sat down on my couch composed. Yes, Martin is my husband. I thought you'd figured that out by now, honestly. I just stared at her. You thought I knew. Well, I never said I was single. She had this reasonable tone, like we were discussing a minor miscommunication. Finn, come on, we never talked about being exclusive, we never made promises, what we have is just what it is. What we have, I repeated. Lena, I've been seeing you for 8 months, she shrugged. And it's been nice, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Martin has his life, I have mine, we're adults. These things happen. Does Martin know these things happen? That's between me and my husband. She stood up, smoothing her skirt. Look, if this is too much for you, I understand, but don't act like I deceived you. You never asked the right questions. I'll give you some time alone to think. Call me when you've thought this through. She left, just like that. No apology, no explanation beyond that cold assessment of the situation. I sat on my couch for a long time after she left. Tara called around 9 and I told her everything. Her response was immediate. That's sociopathic. Finn, she's not even pretending to feel bad. I know. So what are you going to do? That's when something clicked. The old me would have just blocked her and moved on, nursed the wound privately. But something about her complete lack of remorse, the way she'd made me feel stupid for expecting basic honesty, it settled wrong. I'm going to think about it, I told Tara. But I wasn't just thinking about it, I was planning. She thought I was exactly the kind of guy who'd accept being the other man even when I knew about it. She read me completely wrong. Update 1. It's been 5 days since my original post, and I need to update you all because I think I'm in the middle of something that could either be the smartest or dumbest thing I've ever done. First, thank you for all the comments. Most of you said to tell Martin immediately, ghost Lena, and move on. Clean exit strategy. That's probably what a well-adjusted person would do. I'm not doing that. On Friday morning, I texted Lena. Hey, I've been thinking, can we meet for lunch? She responded in minutes. Of course, I'm so glad you're open to talking. So we met for lunch. She was already there when I arrived, looking relieved. Finn, I'm really happy you reached out. I was worried I'd hurt you. You did hurt me, I said, sitting down. But I've been thinking about what you said, about not making promises, about being adults. Exactly. She reached across the table for my hand. I knew you'd understand, you're logical, that's what I've always liked about you. I do have one question though, I said, pulling out my phone. When exactly were you going to tell me, or was the plan just to keep this going indefinitely? I don't know, she admitted. Does it matter, we're good together. We are, I agreed and watched her smile. So let's keep going. I just needed a few days to adjust my expectations. The relief on her face was something else. We had lunch, we laughed, and by the end of it we'd made plans for the following week. She kissed me before she left. I knew you'd get it. Most people are so trapped by conventional thinking. I watched her walk away, then immediately called Tara. I'm still seeing her. Finn, but I'm documenting everything now. Every text, every meeting. Every receipt, everything. Silence on the other end. Then, you're building a case. I'm getting evidence, there's a difference. Over the weekend, I started compiling screenshots of every text message from the past 8 months, timestamps, the credit card statements showing dinners, gifts I'd bought her. I went through my photos and found the ones I'd taken of us when she wasn't paying attention. I also started researching Martin. Turns out he's a partner at a mid-sized family law firm downtown, specializes in divorce and custody cases, ironically. His firm's website has his email and office address. Tara came over Sunday night with Thai food and the look of someone staging an intervention. Walk me through this, she said. What exactly is the plan? I'm going to keep seeing Lena for a couple more weeks. Act completely normal. Meanwhile, I'm going to document everything that proves this isn't some one-time mistake or brief lapse. I want to show a pattern. Then I'm going to package it all up and send it to Martin. And then I'm done. I'll block her on everything and move on. Why not just tell him now? Because right now she can talk her way through things. She knows how to, but if I give this 2 more weeks, there's no way she can minimize it. Okay, Tara finally said. I'm helping, but you need someone to keep you honest about this. Don't do anything actually crazy. So Tara became my unofficial project manager. We created a shared document. Every evening I'd add new entries. Times Lena texted me, calls we had, places we went. Monday night, Lena came over to my place. We watched a movie, and at one point she got a call she stepped outside to take. When she came back, she said it was her cousin dealing with some drama. Through the window, I'd seen her hand gestures, the animated way she talks when she's dealing with something stressful. That wasn't a casual cousin call. It was probably Martin, and she was lying to both of us simultaneously. Wednesday at work, my phone buzzed during a meeting. Lena, quick question, have you ever thought about what we're doing? Like, where it's going? I waited an hour to respond. Sometimes, why? Just wondering if you're happy with how things are. Translation, she was checking if I was getting restless, if I might become a problem. I could almost admire the manipulation if it wasn't being used on me. I'm good, I texted back. We said we're taking things as they come, right? Exactly. I'm glad we understand each other. Friday lunch was at a bistro downtown. Halfway through, I said, you know what's funny? I was thinking about what you said last week, about me being too worried about your husband. Oh, she looked interested. Yeah, I realized you're right. You're an adult, you make your own choices. It's not really my place to feel guilty about Martin, is it? Her face lit up. Exactly. God, Finn, that's exactly it. What Martin and I have is separate from what you and I have. These are different things. Different compartments, I said. Yes, she seemed genuinely excited that I was getting it. That's exactly what it is. Some people can handle complexity and some people can't. I nodded slowly, let her think I was processing this profound wisdom. So when you go home tonight, you'll have dinner with Martin, and that's just another part of your life. Right. It doesn't diminish what we have. Interesting way to look at it. I flagged down the waiter for the check. That night I added everything to the document. Saturday night, Lena texted about coming over Sunday. She showed up at noon with lunch from this sandwich place she likes. We ate, we talked, and at one point my phone buzzed. It was Tara texting the agreed signal. How's the project coming? Work stuff, I told Lena, typing back a quick response. They work you too hard, she said, kissing my shoulder. The irony of her saying that while actively maintaining a separate relationship with her husband wasn't lost on me. At 2:45 she started gathering her things. I hate leaving early. I know, but we'll see each other again soon. Thursday, she suggested. Thursday works. After she left, I sat down and added everything to the document. Tara called at 4. This Thursday is 2 weeks exactly, she said. Are you going through with it? I looked at the document, pages and pages of evidence, text messages showing consistent contact, timestamps proving ongoing involvement, photos, receipts, a clear pattern of sustained deception. Yeah, I said. Thursday I see her one last time. Friday morning Martin gets a package. Anonymously, completely anonymous. I'm not trying to insert myself into their marriage or have some confrontation. I'm just providing information he deserves to have. And Lena gets nothing. No explanation, no confrontation, no closure, just silence. Cold. Accurate, I corrected. She told me herself we never made promises, so I don't owe her an explanation when I disappear. Now it's Sunday night and I'm looking at 4 more days of this. 4 more days of acting like everything's normal while I finalize everything. The document is rock solid. The delivery method is planned. And in less than a week, this entire strange chapter of my life ends. Part of me wonders if I should feel bad about being this calculating, but mostly I just feel tired. One more meetup and then I'm out. Clean, documented, and final. Update 2. It's Monday night, and I need to write this while everything's still fresh because the past 4 days have been surreal. Thursday went exactly as planned. Lena and I met for dinner at this Italian place she'd suggested. She was in a good mood, talking about spring break plans and maybe taking a weekend trip together in a few weeks. Maybe somewhere upstate, a cabin. That sounds nice, I said, knowing I'd be completely out of her life in less than 24 hours. At one point she excused herself to the bathroom and her phone buzzed on the table. A text from Martin obviously, asking what time she'd be home. When she came back I said, I've really appreciated these past few weeks, getting to know you better. She smiled and squeezed my hand. Me too. I told you we'd be fine once you adjusted. You were right, I said, and meant it in a way she'd never understand. We finished dinner, she kissed me goodbye, and that was it. Last time I'd ever see her. Friday morning I woke up at 6 a.m., couldn't sleep anyway. I'd spent Thursday night finalizing everything, printed everything out. The USB drive was the centerpiece. It had 3 things on it. 1. Complete text message exports from the past 2 weeks, showing ongoing contact after I found out. 2. A recording I'd made at Friday lunch when she explained her compartmentalization philosophy, legal in my state, single-party consent. 3. A brief typed note. Your wife has been seeing me for 8 months. She's known I know about you for 2 weeks. This isn't an accident or a mistake. I'm sorry you have to find out this way. You deserve to know the truth. I packaged everything in a manila envelope and drove to Martin's law firm before work. I checked, his office opened at 8 a.m. I walked in at 7:55 and asked the receptionist if I could leave a delivery for Martin. She took the envelope. I left. That was it. Then I went to work and had the longest day of my life. I couldn't focus on anything. Every hour felt like 3. Tara kept giving me concerned looks across the office but didn't say anything. Around 2 p.m. my phone started buzzing. Lena calling. I didn't answer. 3 more calls over the next hour. Then texts, hey, can you call me when you get a chance? Finn, I need to talk to you. Something's come up, please call me. I didn't respond to any of them. Then my phone started buzzing again. Another call from Lena. I declined it. Around 7 p.m. the texts started getting more desperate. And then at 8:47 p.m. Did you do something? So she knew. Saturday morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls and a barrage of texts. The most recent one sent at 2 a.m. I know it was you. How could you do this? You said you understood. You lied to me. You used me. I read it twice. The absolute lack of self-awareness was almost impressive. I used her. I finally blocked her number. Blocked her on all social media. Deleted every photo I had of us. She was just gone from my life, digitally erased in about 10 minutes. Tara came over Saturday afternoon with pizza. So I blocked her on everything this morning. It's over. Did Martin respond? Do you know what happened? No idea. Not my business anymore. I gave him the information. What he does with it is up to him. But Sunday afternoon, I got my answer in the weirdest way possible. I was at the grocery store and I ran into someone from Lena's school. She recognized me and came over. Oh my God, you're Finn, right? Lena's friend. The way she said friend told me she knew. Yeah, we were seeing each other. Were, she repeated. Well, I don't know if you heard, but Lena's on administrative leave right now. Something about a personal situation. My face must have shown surprise because she continued. Apparently it's a whole thing. Her husband filed for divorce Friday evening, same-day filing, which almost never happens unless there's serious cause. It spread through the school community over the weekend. That's intense. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the details, but, she lowered her voice, you seem like you're doing okay at least. I am now, I said, and I meant it. After she left, I sat in my car for a few minutes processing everything. Administrative leave. Divorce filed same day. The story spreading through her professional community. I hadn't expected Martin to move that quickly or that decisively. Then again, he's a divorce lawyer. He knew exactly what he was looking at when he saw that evidence and what to do about it. That night, Lena tried calling from a different number. I didn't recognize it at first and picked up. Finn, please don't hang up. I should have hung up immediately, but curiosity got the better of me. What do you want? I need to understand why. We were fine. You said you understood. Why did you do this? Because Martin deserved to know the truth. The truth? Her voice went sharp. The truth is you pretended to be okay with everything just so you could stab me in the back. That's manipulative. That's cruel. I almost laughed. Lena, you lied to both of us for 8 months. You made me feel crazy for expecting basic honesty. And when I found out, you acted like I was the problem for being hurt. That's not. I never said. You literally told me I was thinking too conventionally because I had feelings about being the other man. Silence on the other end. Then, you've ruined my life. No, I said calmly. You ruined your own life. You just thought you wouldn't get caught. I hung up and blocked that number too. Today's Monday and I feel lighter somehow. Like I've been carrying something heavy and finally put it down. So that's where I am now. Single again. Wiser about red flags. And surprisingly okay with all of it. Final update. It's been 6 weeks since my last update and I wasn't planning to post again, but something happened last week that feels worth sharing. First, the basics. I'm doing fine. Better than fine, actually. I threw myself into work, took on a big project that's been intellectually consuming in a good way. My life is quiet, structured, and drama-free. About 3 weeks ago, I was leaving work when I saw him in the parking garage. Martin, just standing there next to a silver Audi, clearly waiting for someone. When he saw me, he straightened up. He walked over and up close he looked tired. Not falling apart tired, but the kind of worn down you get from dealing with difficult things. I've wanted to talk to you. Okay, I said, genuinely not sure what was about to happen. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Then he said, you want to grab a drink. I know that's weird, but I have questions and I think you might be the only person who can answer them honestly. So we went to a bar 2 blocks away, sat in a booth in the back, ordered drinks, and had possibly the strangest conversation of my life. Did you have any idea? I decided to ask first. Looking back, maybe. Small things. She was happier for a while, more engaged. He paused. I thought things were good. Apparently they were good for her because she had 2 lives running. I sipped my drink. When I found out, she told me you two weren't exclusive, that it was an open marriage, essentially. We absolutely were not in an open marriage. We never discussed anything like that. We were planning to start trying for kids this year. He said it flatly, but I could hear the anger underneath. I'm sorry, I didn't know until you saw us at the cafe. Yeah, I figured out the timeline from the evidence you sent. He looked at me directly. I want you to know I don't blame you. You were lied to just as much as I was. Maybe more because at least I had the legal protection of marriage. You just had her word. We talked for almost 2 hours. He told me about the divorce. She'd initially tried to fight it, claimed the evidence was obtained illegally, tried to say I was lying. But the timestamps were irrefutable. The recordings were legal. And most damning, when he confronted her, she'd admitted to everything almost immediately. The thing is, Martin said, once I started looking, I found other things. Old emails, messages she'd forgotten to delete. You weren't the first. There was someone 2 years ago, probably others I haven't found yet. That hit me harder than I expected. So this was just a pattern, apparently, and I was too trusting or too busy or too stupid to see it. He finished his drink. The administrative leave at her school happened because one of her colleagues, someone who knew about you and me, filed a complaint saying Lena had been using school resources and time to facilitate personal relationships. The school investigated and found enough to warrant the leave. They're letting her finish the year from home, and then she's done. I didn't know what to say to that. I hadn't wanted her to lose her job. I just wanted Martin to know the truth. I'm not glad she's suffering, I finally said. I just wanted you to have the information to make your own choices. I know, and I appreciate that. He signaled for another drink. The divorce will be final in about 8 weeks. She's trying to get a settlement, but given the circumstances, she's not going to get much. I had a prenup and infidelity voids most of it. Where is she now? Living with her parents across town. She's tried to reach out a few times through mutual friends, but I'm done. Completely done. He looked at me. What about you? Has she tried to contact you? She tried from different numbers for a while, but I blocked everything. Haven't heard from her in about a month. Good, keep it that way. We talked more. At one point, he asked what I did for work, and we ended up talking about engineering for 20 minutes. He's dealing with a patent case involving mechanical systems and had questions about stress testing. It was surreal and somehow exactly what I needed, to have a conversation that wasn't about Lena. Eventually, we shook hands and went our separate ways. I sat in my car for a while after, processing everything. It was closure, but not the kind I'd expected. Not satisfying or triumphant, just real. 2 people who'd been manipulated by the same person, comparing notes and moving on. Yesterday, I deleted the documentation folder, all of it. I'd kept it backed up just in case, but I realized I didn't need it anymore. The evidence had served its purpose. Keeping it felt like keeping a connection to her, and I didn't want that. So here I am. 6 weeks out, feeling more like myself than I have in almost a year. Working on projects I care about, spending time with people who value me, and slowly rebuilding trust in my own judgment. Thanks for listening, Reddit. This community helped me see the situation clearly when I was in the middle of it. Time to fully close this chapter and move on to whatever comes next. Peace.